Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open this up kind of the way that it was, kind of the way that it looked when you first opened this up. But what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about mapping the programmer for the Combinator. Because we have all our Kong devices here, kick, snare, hats. When we did it, we're going to eventually load these. I mean, right now I only sampled in the kick and the snare for the moment. And so the kick and the snare are loaded. And we did all the routing last week anyway, so the routing should be good. It's just a matter of what we're going to do with this, loading the samples, and we'll save all these patches, and we'll save this as a whole. But when we look at the programmer is talking about who's getting queued from what controller here. So what actually we're going to do is when you open the programmer, it should kind of look like this, and you notice if you play any one of the pads, let me go back to, if you play any one of the pads, essentially they play it all together. You notice, like when I'm hitting this, you see everybody's firing on here. When I'm hitting this one pad, all of these are firing. And what we actually want to do is we want to set this up in our matrix, on our MPC style pads, so that instead of each device playing each one of these in each device, instead we're separating these and saying, this will be pad 1, pad 2, pad 3, pad 4, pad 5, pad 6, pad 7, pad 8, pad 9. We'll get to the crashes later once everybody arrives because I'll have you guys add those. But in order to do so, we actually have to tell the show, where it says show programmer, where these devices are going to end up. So on the kick, if you select, you should see kick down here, probably device 4 if you're in order, because we had our line mixer and our direct and our room mixers. So these mixers are doing their job there. But if you go down to the kick one, what you're going to do is where it says, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to set the key range to be on C3. So see where it says key range low, and then it says high. What we're going to do essentially is we want this to be C3. So you can literally just take this up, grab it, and drag it until it says C3. Or you can grab the handle. If you see there's a handle on the end here. You have to go all the way down to get it, but you can grab the handle if you scroll over and just say, all right, it's going to be on C3. And then you need to go to the high note and do the same thing, and grab that handle and take it all the way down to C3. So that essentially will be just one note. What we can do from there, so let's see if this will map out just fine. Oops. So you can grab those. What we're going to do is we're going to have those be in half-step increments. Let me check and see. The one thing I wanted to see is if this will. Why not?
Oh, I have to do that to every single one of them?
Yeah. Essentially, we're just going to go ahead and take them so that they're. Essentially, it's going to go C3, C sharp 3. It's going to go chromatically, so that until we fill all. We move all these up so that they're all side by side. What this will do is this will allow them to again be listed on the mapping for the hits, so that they're mapped out correctly. Although let's see, hold on, one other thing here. I think I know. On this device we can't, unfortunately. Let me just see something real quick though, because I thought that was fine at C3. Did I lose control? No, I still have it. Oh, you know what? You're gonna have to go to C1. I'm sorry. You know what? When you drag these, for some reason when I was playing it a second ago, it worked out just fine. But I think something changed when I rerouted. So these are all going to have to go down to one level in order to end up on the pads. So that's actually not much. Take these.
Now I can just click and drag those to C1.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just slide them over. So it's not as much work after that because you already made it at least a single note.
Oh,
Now we haven't loaded everything in here, so they're not all,
why did that? Cool.
they're not all there yet. But once we load them all, we'll be able to get these fired up. Oh shoot! Although, hold on.
On the side, I kind of see like little pad settings where it has like mute groups, links, and I'm guessing alternate.
Yeah, and that's actually going to work out pretty good for us. We just have to. We're going to make some modifications to that to really help us. So let me see. Let me just make a quick change to this. Let's see. Actually, you know what? That'll work out just fine. Because of the way that we just routed this, when we map these out in the programmer, they're going to unfortunately, the way we had it set up in the controller, they were all hitting pad 1 of each group. Now, because of the way this device is used, they go, one for one chronologically, so they are chromatically specifically with the order of the note, which means that when we hit the first pad, we hit pad 1 on device 1. And when we hit pad 2, we're hitting pad 2 on device 2. When we hit pad 3, we're hitting pad 3 on device 3.
Did you do something where you linked the first two?
Yes. So that's where we need to go next. There's a couple things we're going to want to do. So let's go look at the kick first. On the kick drum, so now we have that part programmed. What we're going to do is we have a kick direct and we have a kick room. And, oh yeah, that's right. All right, let me undo alternate group. Sorry, I did it for these. Let me clear this real quick.
I didn't see
In the link group where it says link, what we're going to want to do is go to Q on the kick, this little Q where it says quick edit mode. Open this up so you see this grid. Once you see this grid, what we're going to do is we have 3 different options here. There's mute groups, there's link groups, and there's alternate groups. The mute groups mean that anything that's when it's struck, essentially it's going to mute that whole section. That's beneficial if you want to set up your keypads as mutable options for things that are already playing in your samples. So you can have one control all of them and just mute them. So, like if you said, hey, these are all going to be mute A, tap around to the front. When we get out of the quick edit mode, when we look at this, any one of these we can use in our mute group here. If we go to mute, we switch over to the pad settings mute, and we can actually set these up so that these mute groups work out, so that they're essentially going to mute each other out. So we could say, all right, let's. Then we should be able to clear.
Is it because it's only assigned to pad 4?
Well, these guys are assigned to 1 through 4. Clear the mute group though. Well, and that's just see, we should be able to see. The link we're going to use the link. The link essentially is going to attach any one of these pads to one another. So the one thing we do want to do is we're going to link. If you hit D in the group D, go ahead and link the first two. Actually, I don't know if you've already loaded yours. One thing we'll link the first two here, but you need to load to pad 1. You're going to load a kick direct. Your kick direct, you should have your kick direct sample. So down here in the bottom, open up the Show Drums and Effects, go to Module, select Nano Sampler. After you've selected Nano Sampler, click on the folder here to browse your samples. You're going to go find your samples wherever they may be and go to Kick. Load Kick Direct first. Click it and hit Load at the bottom of the screen. And then you can go to pad 2, do the same thing. You're going to open up the NN Nano Sampler on pad 2, hit the browser folder, and go find Kick. The same kick that's associated, but Kick Room, and hit Load, and load it to the device. So now you have both loaded. You'll have independent volumes here, but what we're going to do with this is once you have Kick Room loaded, the one thing you need to change. Once you have Kick 2 loaded, the one thing you need to change is you need to make sure that the output for Kick 1 is going to go to main output left right for the direct one. Okay, so the direct kick goes to output main.
Okay, I'm up to the nano sampler part.
All right, and then hit the folder
Browse sample.
and find your direct kick or your kick direct.
Can't go to my patches folder. Got to search for it. Okay, my bad. That hard drive.
Find it. Actually, I need to run and grab something real quick while you're finding that. After you load kick direct to pad 1, load Kick Room to pad 2.
Drum samples. a question.
Yeah.
So I loaded my kick into my Kong 1, but the first two pads only play that kick. And when I try to do the kick direct, so when I try to import load the kick room, they both play kick room instead of kick direct and kick room.
Oh, okay, let's take a look. It might be a pad assignment thing. You had already linked them before you loaded it.
Yeah.
So they're linked. Okay, so. Okay. What happens here is, in the drum assignment, they need to say like 1 through 16. So number 2 needs to click on number 2. See how it says 1 at the top? It needs to say 2.
So I click here.
Yeah, and so go to kick direct real quick. Okay, go to number 2. You're gonna need to reload it.
Oh,
And then you should be fine.
okay. Kick room. Oh no. Undo.
Something else happened with it. So I brought with me to kind of show you guys some stuff. It's not an expensive controller. This one's an older controller. You know, they make a lot more advanced ones, but this is the Korg pad control. You can probably get this for like $40 these days. You know, I mean, all it is a PC style controller.
Can I use my machine micro?
But yeah, if you had a micro, absolutely. Hopefully your micro has an XY pad. So for like flams and rolls, essentially. Some of them have like a single strip, but the XY gives you velocity and dynamic control while you're doing some of that. So like once you start assigning these, this becomes important because there's some things you can do with it that you can't do with just your standard keyboard, and things like the rolls and stuff actually get printed to MIDI, which is kind of nice. Let's see. But I'm going to switch over to this real quick. That way I can map all these out without having to use the roller.
I don't think I have that pad though.
Oh, the XY pad?
Yeah. Unfortunately not.
Let's see this.
Actually, on the what are they called? On those M-Audio ones, don't they have that little stick thing?
It's different though. What that does is different than.
Or is that just a pitch bend M-Audio?
Yeah, that's just your mods and stuff.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me switch this over. Let me just activate this real fast on the device.